And we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this latest TubeBuddy live stream. We're going to be discussing the YouTube monetization changes and what they mean for you out there. So, if you are unaware, we will have in the pinned comment and in the description down below a link to the article of the changes so that you can see them. Our moderator team is here working hard to make sure to provide accurate information. I want to make sure that we do two things. One, we are alert of this change, that we are aware this is coming, and two, that we are, yet while we are alert, we are not anxious. Changes happen on the platform all the time. We need to understand what they are and go and move past them. Because here's the thing, on YouTube, we are creating content on borrowed land. We don't own the land on YouTube, but we own the content we produce. We're starting to see changes from YouTube themselves. I see a bunch of people here. Just want to give some quick shout outs. So welcome, Shelly, welcome, Rob, welcome, Judah, welcome, Paul. Seeing some people already. Thank you very much. From Cabby Decays, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Mr. Alas versus Cancer. So yeah, today we are going to go dive right into some of these changes. It's very important that we make sure what they are and we discuss them, right? Because when you see YouTube changes, you see that monetization symbol, there are changes that are coming, and this will affect everyone, not just people that are monetizing. So not people that are in the YouTube partnership program. This affects everyone, as we say in the title. So with that, I will be sharing my screen here so you guys get an understanding of what you can expect, right? So right off the bat, if you're unaware, YouTube has made these changes. I said again, and I will say this again, that we have everything linked in the description and in the pinned comment. So as we look here, the first thing that we're seeing here that draws out right here is YouTube's right to monetize. This is what is getting everyone, rightfully so, concerned. And it says YouTube has the right to monetize all content on the platform, and ads may appear on videos from channels not in the YouTube partner program. This right here is the biggest change to the policy. This is what is getting people up in arms about it, because a lot of people are not yet monetizing on the platform. So I have a simple question for you watching, whether you are watching live or you're watching in the replay. Let me know, are you monetizing your YouTube channel? For example, us here at TubeBuddy, we're not monetizing the YouTube channel, right? The reason for that was very apparent and very clear. We wanted to give and provide content free for everyone who watches, who supports us using the TubeBuddy browser extension and things like that. So I see some people are saying not yet. Oh, Garu TV, saya suka belajar, saya suka bahasa Indonesia, saya mencoba tapi sulit. Maaf. That's basically Indonesian. Very bad at it. I'm learning though, doing my best. But speaking of learning, let's learn of these changes, right? So with YouTube making these changes, the first thing we need to discuss is why, right? A lot of people are like, why would YouTube do this to us? Why are they making these broad changes that affect everyone? So for starters, YouTube is a business, right? We don't have to like that fact, but it is the fact. We create content for free on their platform. Now, a lot of us do it with the hopes of getting into the monetization program, also known as the YouTube partnership program, which they pay us through AdSense. So here's the thing. When it comes to the YouTube partnership program, the current goals to hit and able to be eligible to be in that program are 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time. Now, I've seen a lot of rumors saying this is changing too. YouTube has not said a thing about that. From this point, this announcement was made a couple of days ago. From this point, there is currently no data that says that they're changing those requirements. I want that said now. So just wanted to make sure that that is said. I see from beyond the blast doors, it says, hi, Andrew, we're a Star Wars channel that started using TubeBuddy 1 year ago. We went from 500 subscribers to 4,030 as of today, 6 months into monetization. So you are monetizing your content. So when it comes to monetizing, and I'm glad that you're able to monetize, and that's awesome. We gave you the tools, but you did the hard work. That's what we try to do here at TubeBuddy. So the next thing that's going to affect people when it comes to the YouTube monetization changes are pretty simple. It comes right here, royalty payments. So I'll make sure to make this as big as I humanly can. So it comes into royalty payments and tax withholding. For creators entitled to revenue payments, such payments will be treated as royalty from a U.S. tax perspective, and Google will withhold taxes where required by law. Now, a lot of people are concerned by this language. If I could make any changes to the YouTube platform, it would be this. Please, please, please. I understand that your lawyers, they write these beautiful, beautiful lawyerese statements. However, they're vague, and they're purposely vague, and it doesn't help YouTubers feel confident in your platform. So I don't mind that they have lawyerese, right? I get the game. A lot of people are upset by these changes, and they're saying YouTube is rigged. They're rigging the system. They control everything. And to a point, they do host us. They do make changes that we can't control, but there are landlords, and we went into this agreement knowing there are landlords. So it's understanding our rights as a tenant, as the people who are living on this platform, right? That's the thing that I think we should discuss. I see from Nostra TV, they said they're still waiting for my PIN Google AdSense. It's been 3 months now. I would also say that I know a lot of people who have had PIN problems have been trapped in the global pandemic, and I do feel bad for that. There's not much we can do. I see that some people are saying they do write statements, but they are so damn complicated, simplify. I don't disagree. And I think that that is where I understand it, right? If I'm YouTube, we have to remember that if YouTube is our landlord, right? If they are who is our landlord, they are being torn apart by record labels. They are torn apart by copyright holders, and they're doing their best. And I don't want to, I'm not going to defend YouTube, but I will say that they have defended us in ways that I don't think we appreciate. But I would say that communication in any form of relationship, be it business, be it a personal between two people who are romantically involved, or just friendship, communication is key, right? So the next part I want to share on my screen, which I think is important, is that we look here. Please make sure you read the updated terms carefully. Well, I've read them, and I've read them carefully. A little vague, but that I digress. So as I quickly put that down, it says the new terms will take effect on November 18th, 2020 for users in the US. So everyone who is currently watching, if you are based in the United States, if you are not in the YouTube partnership program, today is the 20th of November. This went into effect on the 18th. So your content is already going to be affected. If you start getting comments about ads, I'm giving you the forewarning, the foresight that this is happening. This is actively happening, right? So we need to make sure that if our audience says, hey, what's with all these ads? You're aware, because I've seen people say, I don't run ads on my content. You may not be running ads yourself. And that gets to a point I will talk about in a bit. So as of today, it is November 20th at the time of this live stream. Let me know in the comments in the replay, when are you watching? And similar changes to our terms of service will be made outside the US in 2021. I've seen a few people saying, well, I'm not in the US. It doesn't affect me. Not yet, but it will in 2021. YouTube says, have you read the terms carefully? Yes, I have. Were they clear and concise? Kind of. By continuing to use YouTube after this date, you are agreeing to the new terms. So just by being on this platform, us streaming live, you watching, we are agreeing to these terms. If you would like more information, visit our help center. They put a link to the help center. Moderators, if you could be so kind and link to the help center, that would be very appreciated if you're watching this in the live chat. There's also a link in the description, just making sure we're covering our bases there. So I see from Self-Employment Training says, hi, changes will affect all regions. Absolutely, as it says here. Maybe not right away, but it says similar changes to our terms of service will be made outside the US in 2021. So by all of us continuing to be here, these changes will affect. I see from Green Skellington, okay, so we're all messed up. We're not all messed up. It's understanding that they have once again changed the. People keep saying that this is a situation where YouTube is just evil and they're a corporation money hungry. Well, money does play a factor. I would also say it's more like the scene from Star Wars where Darth Vader's like, I've changed the deal, pray I don't alter it again. I just think we want a fair deal, but it's also understanding we got a pretty fair deal here. We get to, if we were to pay out of pocket to host all the content we put on YouTube, whoo! Yeah. So I see here from Moon Girl Tarot, and her, I'm hopefully pronouncing that correctly, tarot cards is what I've always said. I've heard some people say that's not it. Royalty payments and tax withholding for creators entitled to revenue payments. Such payments will be treated as royalties from a U.S. tax perspective, and Google will withhold taxes where required by law. Now, I don't know everywhere that is required by law, but yes, that is a new change that is happening. So, love the Vader reference, says John Batchelor. John Batchelor, one of our amazing people here at the TubeBuddy team, works on the mobile app. If you're using TubeBuddy Mobile, let John know. Don't let him know of everything, though. Just kidding. TubeBuddy is a game changer, I see. They say they have gotten more views and engagement with our tool. Thank you, Watch Big Nate TV. But, you know, it's cool that you are getting more changes, but I think Michael Kinney says that YouTube needs more ad inventory to sell ads against. So that is correct. You know, YouTube is ultimately they are a business. I almost said a bachelor because I saw John Batchelor pop up once more. But they are a business, right? And I get that. We have an interesting relationship with YouTube. It's the partnership program, right? We're not employees per se. It's interesting in our partnership that we don't get much of a say in it. Now, I understand we get free platform, free promotion, free everything. I think there's a couple of things that YouTube could have immediately done, which would have eased a lot of tensions. And I want to talk about that. And we will keep referencing back. If you were just joining us, YouTube is making changes to the following 3 things. Change number 1, that even if you're not in the YouTube Ship Partners program, so if you're not making ads or you're not monetized, you will start seeing ads. Change number 2 is that royalty payments and tax withholdings, if you're in the US, are going to be a thing. So whatever you see in AdSense is probably going to start changing or on your YouTube page, because I know they say that not to check AdSense for the data. Whatever you see there, they're going to start withholding tax. That is what they said. And if you're international, this isn't really going to affect, according to this, until 2021. It says outside the US, so I'm going to say that just for now. So please go through the changes again, says Teresa Roberts. Well, I just did, so hopefully that helps. I see a pro tip from Doc Rock, which is do not depend on ad revenue, diversify your monetization, i.e. TubeBuddy affiliate. That is true. We do have an affiliate program, but I don't want to harper on that. I don't want to come off disingenuous, right? I said earlier that TubeBuddy has never monetized long-term. We haven't. We have done tests because, you know, we've had feature requests, but I do want to discuss this, you know. If we look here, and I'm going to go full screen because I really want to show off this point. We have never once, outside of testing, so you'll see this is the 5 years. This is when I started with TubeBuddy, December 11, 2015. God, it's almost been 5 years, everyone. But this is kind of what I'm seeing. Wow, I caught a live, says Kicking You with Net. I do see some more questions coming in. I do apologize if I can't get to them all, but the point is, if you look here, I believe this is actually when Super Chats came out. And yes, so Super Chats, when they came out, we were testing them with our streamers. We don't do that anymore. But as you can see, the only other times we've ever actually monetized is in cases of testing. We've actually never monetized the YouTube channel long-term, and that is on purpose, right? This was for our users. One of the things that we have said is that we understand that you guys support us by buying and using TubeBuddy, whether it's the free version all the way to our highest level legend. We greatly appreciate your time, your commitment to us as a tool. So we have never monetized unless it was for testing a feature that would help people who do. Now, in our current understanding, with the new rule changes, YouTube is going to change if ads are on channels or not. I'm unsure because this is a question I keep seeing, and I wish I could give you a for sure. But this is what I'll say. I don't want ads on my channel. I have no ads displaying. Will YouTube start running ads? Again, the vague language comes to play. I hope not. I genuinely, in all my heart, hope they do not. However, and I will say this live, I hope to be wrong. Please, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they honor what creators say, but I wouldn't put in past it to say, hey, we're going to start monetizing this. Hopefully, if we are in the YPP, we have more control over the ads that are on the content. However, the fact of the matter is it's so vague, I can't say. If they force ads anyway, TubeBuddy will start monetizing, and we have some plans on how we will do that. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel, check it out, because we plan to use that money in very smart ways to help the community. I can't get more into that, but we care. We have free versions. We're here. We love this community. We do not for a second take you for granted. So here's the thing. We will keep going. We will keep having fun. I see Rose says TubeBuddy is so amazing. I will continue watching even if YouTube runs ads on your channel, TubeBuddy. Well, thank you. We do appreciate that. And again, I'm going to be answering questions, but it's something we have not done. I see from Tech Countdown, hey, so taxes for creators who are monetized have to pay taxes, but those who are out of the US and have been monetized don't have to. That's not really what they say. They just say that they said the changes in that document will affect them later in 2021. So I can't say it doesn't affect them. I think it's more so they don't know how it's going to affect them per se. I see from Matrix, does those changes affect monetized channels? It affects everyone. Again, going back to the language they use, it says right here in English, it's clear as day. YouTube has the right to monetize all content on the platform, and ads may appear on videos from channels not in the YouTube partnership program. So even if you are not monetizing, you can be affected by this based on the vague language. Again, we don't have clarity. So I want to stress that. We have a question from the Friend's Kitchen. Shorts feature, is it good for future? We actually had a stream with Shelly Saves, who I think is still in the chat, talking all about shorts. Shorts are a great new opportunity that YouTube is providing. Make sure you create new and original content for it. I want to make sure that we have this explanation. I see from Room Girl Tarot. Thank you for explaining this. I wanted to take this time. I saw that, Roberto Blake put out a great video, which I'll make sure, mods, if you can, please link Roberto's video. Nimmin and Daniel Batal were both streaming about this, and we were getting a lot of questions about it here on the TubeBuddy YouTube channel. So if you don't hear this from anyone, we understand your frustrations. We know where you're coming from, but it's understanding where it's going and how to adapt. As creators, it is our job to our audience, to the relationships we build on this platform, to adapt. And here's the thing, right? I see a lot of people who are saying YouTube is abusing us, YouTube is owning us. They don't own your content. You always have that control. Obviously, that's kind of short. Technically, there are some things in the term of service. But what I'm saying is you don't have to choose to create on the YouTube platform. If this is the final straw, it says by continuing to use YouTube after this date, you are agreeing to the new terms. We have, and this is why competition is good for us as creators, right? And keep in mind, TubeBuddy takes a lot of value with you being on YouTube. However, we will support you no matter where you go. And, we plan to keep doing what we can, plan to keep doing our best to provide creators tools. And that's what we've always done. And that's what we will continue to do. So Wolf Entertainment says, so if this happens, it'll be just like TV. I hate TV. I don't think it'll be one-to-one to TV. I think that, it's more like a Hulu. I would say it's similar to Hulu, how they do it. So there's a version with ads that you can watch. And then there is, ad-free, which I think is the premium play. I think YouTube, they're a business. We're all trying to make successful businesses on this platform. If we want to monetize, which a lot of us do, maybe it's not through monetization, maybe it's through affiliates, as Doc Rock mentioned kindly earlier. Maybe it's through other means. But the truth is, most of us want to make a business of some sort. We want to be able to keep doing YouTube, to keep the lights on, to keep sustainability with this. So what I would say is it's important that we don't sit here and blame YouTube for trying to make money when a lot of us are trying to do the same, because then it's hypocritical. So what I would say is that we need to make sure we are aware of these changes, alert, not anxious. Lazy That's Me said, what if everyone bought YouTube Premium? Would YouTube still get AdSense money? Well, yes, because the way they break down Premium, it's a gross oversimplification, but they separate how the premium dollars go. And if you look inside analytics, that is kind of how they handle that. Is there any advantages with these changes? So one thing that I think a lot of people aren't happy about, but I think for a lot of smaller creators who are maybe not financially literate, and trust me, I say that as someone who only recently learned finances, and I'm still learning. And I think that is something that, it's hard. For creators entitled to revenue payments, such payments will be treated as royalties from U.S. tax perspective, and Google will withhold tax. This is actually kind of good if you make all your money on the program. Here's why. A lot of banks do not consider YouTube a standard form of income. So if you want a mortgage someday, if you want proof of income, if you have been in this situation, it can be hard to prove where you work, even though you have money coming in. And this is just another way that you can do it. I see from Jacqueline B that she says that they say, I should say, that they're using TubeBuddy for free. That's fine. We have our free version. We have over 30 plus free tools. We actually just came out with a new one, best time to publish. Sorry if we don't have enough data from YouTube. That is something I will say if you're trying to use best time to publish, but there's a reason we have a free version. We get better with more people using us, more people helping us get better. So thank you for even using us, Jacqueline B. I see from Heather K's Wait Life, so why are they now deciding that smaller channels are okay to monetize for them? Why just not let everyone monetize at any point if small channels after are now worth the ad revenue? So this is a great question, Heather, and I'm glad you brought this up. Before the 2018 change, it was actually very simple for anyone to get into the monetization program. In fact, I would say it was like 2013 to 2018. It's kind of when they allowed anyone to monetize. Here's the problem with that. We saw widespread ads of all type from the back end. So people abusing the ad system, putting ads that really shouldn't have been in the program. And you have to remember, at scale, the amount of creators there are, that's an accountability check that every brand, Pepsi, Coke, etc., has to be held accountable for. YouTube does. And if I told you, you now are responsible for the actions right now of 5 million people, if any of them do anything wrong, you're in trouble. This goes to Heather. This goes to anyone watching. Heather would be like, I'm out. I don't want that. 5 million people. I'm responsible for the actions of 5 million people. I couldn't handle it. I don't know if any of us could, right? So it's understanding that at one point they did allow channels that were smaller to monetize. It's true. Look it up. The problem is people have abused it. So that's something YouTube learned. I don't agree with that. I think that, maybe they should have had the stricter guidelines. Maybe they should look. I think the 1,000 subscribers, I think that if you keep creating the content, you'll notice. Ike says, no, thanks. I'm seeing a lot of people say, yeah, no, I wouldn't deal with that. Yeah, so it's common, right? So it's understanding that I don't blame YouTube from this. It's just understanding that it's definitely difficult. I see from Integra DIY, no wonder my revenue went down the last couple of days. Thanks, YouTube. And also, you have to remember changes in the market. It also depends the type of content you do, the type of ads you get. Ultimately, I've seen the opposite, and I've seen channels who are smaller than me have way higher revenues than me. That's just the game, right? And I keep saying the game because it's kind of what we're in. Most people don't understand, and I was bad at this too, is that the business world is you have to understand how it works or you will be left behind in it. And I wish YouTube did better at explaining their reasoning. I wish that, but I'm being alert, not anxious. I am being cautiously optimistic. And I know us at TubeBuddy will do our best to help all of you understand these changes as they come. That's what we've done. And that's what friends do. It's a relationship we very much value here on this channel. And thank you all. And I'm sorry that I can't reply to everyone. And I'm doing my best. Judah Lee says, Andrew is a YouTube scholar. I don't know if I am a scholar, but I am a student of the game. Anakara Impora. I am always learning. I may be pronouncing that wrong. Latin's not my first language. So Joseph Wilson asks a great question. Is it a flat rate tax or do we fill out a W-2? Currently, it is based on, and I'll share my screen once more for this. It is going to be based on the royalties side of the tax workings. So I'm not sure if royalties, because I've never been paid royalties. Well, soon we all will be. So I'm unsure, and I'm also not a lawyer. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Disclaimer. From my current understanding, this is going to be from the royalty side. So if we want to look up stuff in there, we need to take it from a royalty perspective. Let's look at the existing law in the United States. And even if you're not in the United States, YouTube is. As they say here, similar changes to our terms of service will be made outside of the U.S. So it's understanding that even if this doesn't affect you because you're not in the U.S. right now, it will. So I can't say that for sure. So I got this question from Paula. Do you also think it's because of the pandemic and everybody's at home, everybody and their brother has started a YouTube channel? Maybe. That is a good theory. I can't speak to it. I would say it definitely does make sense. I know that myself personally, I've seen a lot of my friends' parents say, I never knew YouTube existed. And I've seen younger people who are like all based on TikTok. They started watching YouTube and YouTubers went to TikTok. So I think it is a definite probably something that put propellant on this flame. I definitely think with as many people watching at home, I mean, YouTube recently became profitable, right? Like we always like to believe YouTube's successful in this big conglomerate, but Like every business, they have their struggles, right? So it's understanding they're doing all they can to make sure the lights stay on. So David CalVFX, great to see you again. Haven't seen you in a bit. I don't care. I hover below 4K hours since they made it a requirement, but Patreon keeps me going much better anyway. And that's true. This doesn't stop you from making money outside of YouTube. There are lots of programs. There's Amazon, there's Patreon, there's Buy Me a Coffee. There are affiliate programs. There's so much that you can do to make money. This is a question on that. Doozy TV, can you start getting monetized with 500 subscribers? YouTube monetization and the partnership program, no. You can join a lot of affiliate programs. TubeBuddy, you can join right now. Make sales. You can join the Amazon affiliate if you know how to do it. Make sales right now. A lot of programs people use every day have affiliate programs, so you can definitely monetize. Maybe it's not through the YouTube partnership program like most people want, but that is definitely a form of monetization. So this one comes from Richie Reet. I heard TikTok might be shutting down. I can't speak to that. I mean, I've heard that constantly. So it could not, hopefully not. I think that TikTok is an interesting platform, and that if it makes Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all these different platforms scared, that's good for us as creators, because here's the thing. When they have to innovate, when they have to get off and have to actually sit here and go, oh crap, what can we do to be more appealing to creators? We win, period. No matter what platform we're on, when there is a new thing, Spotify example, investing heavily in podcasting, that's going to be good for us as creators, because what happens to Spotify is like, oh, by the way, we now do video. YouTube's going to have to compete. Competition ends up being good for us. So this comes from Silky Hexney. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Do small YouTubers get monetized? They can if they do affiliate programs, not through the YouTube partnership program. With the ads, from my current understanding, and again, this can change, from my current understanding of the language used here, even if you're not in the partnership program, which is how you earn the money from it, ads may appear on videos from channels not in the YouTube partnership program. So do small YouTubers get monetized? They can. Everyone can. That's the beauty of this platform. And I think that is something we kind of take for granted. Just want to make sure I'm pronunciating. I know it's not granted. It is granted. But here's the thing. The ability to create content and be monetized is huge. And I think that in any partnership or relationship, you can lose sight of how beautiful that is. Now, yes, they made it harder. YouTube upped their standards, but after a while in any relationship, the standards tend to go up. I don't think you would take the same thing twice. So it's pretty much, we sometimes, and I'm guilty of this too. I think we all lose sight of, this didn't exist 15 years ago, right? So like, that's incredible that we're able to even do this. I just wish we had more of a say, right? So Fun with Sierra asks, can you get a TubeBuddy sponsorship on your video? Yeah, we sponsor creators all the time. I would say that take a look at some of our TubeBuddy.com/free trial stuff, be active in our community, and prove that you're providing value to many creators. And definitely, it's definitely a thing we do. I see from the Sherry Show, I think some people are confused. Ads on our smaller, not monetized channels don't create revenue for us. The 1,000 hours and 4,000 apps will still apply, but some of our channels won't remain ad-free. Exactly. That's why I'm making sure you understand. Thank you for saying this. Even if you are not in the program, ads are going to start showing up, so you need to be aware. If you are a channel that's like, I don't run ads, be mindful if you start seeing comments, hey, I saw an ad and you said you don't monetize. I showed earlier, TubeBuddy, we don't plan to monetize unless this forces our hand. So again, it's understanding the situation of, if YouTube starts monetizing, and again, we only, like I said earlier, we only monetize to test the monetization. We currently, if you look in the last couple months, $0, and that's because we don't monetize our channel, because we earn our money in other ways, as some people said. So this is from Paula. I don't see this as a negative. I understand I won't receive the revenue, but I think this is something positive. And, I'm happy you said that, because a lot of people haven't been saying that they think it's positive. A lot of people are scared. So I appreciate, Paula, that you said that. I think overall that YouTube, if they wanted to make this change, I wish they would have done it earlier. I get that they didn't. I get that no one knew this pandemic was coming at this scale. No one knew. I think in the end of the day, because we're all talking on this platform, we've agreed, according to YouTube, to these terms. I think it is our job to make sure that we are honest with our audiences, we're honest with ourselves, and we understand that we can make money outside of this platform while still staying on the platform. And that if you are not looking into affiliate programs, if you're not looking at other sources of income, take this as nothing is guaranteed. It is something we learn day after day. We see it with this pandemic. There are people without people at tables. There are people everywhere. So all I will say is we have programs, there are ways, and if we are forced to monetize at TubeBuddy, which I hope even though we say no monetization, they don't change that. If we do, we will find ways to make sure you watching benefit, be it more resources for our tools, more things in that way. We always work for you, the creators, because we would not be here without you. And I don't think YouTube forgets it, but I don't think they communicate it. It's kind of like if you are a parent and you don't tell your child you're proud of them, they don't know that you are. So maybe that's just a little bit of conversation. So I see here from Salt and Pepper, will TubeBuddy sponsor a cooking channel even if I don't have premium TubeBuddy membership? It depends. What value are you going to be bringing to the audience that fits in naturally with TubeBuddy, right? Because we could just sponsor a sign on the side of the road. Doesn't mean it's bringing value, right? But if you are getting people to understand how that they can be better chefs and do keyword research, then maybe that makes sense. Maybe you can explain like looking up recipes is exactly like doing keyword research. If you want to know what kind of food to make, you need to have a recipe. You need a recipe for success on YouTube, and hey, keyword research could be that. But if you're just like, I love TubeBuddy, sponsor me, it becomes harder because a lot of people love TubeBuddy. I see from Joseph Wilson, once we get our channel monetized, will we be able to control the ads and place them where we want them? So you can place them where you want them. When it comes in terms of control the ads, I'm not sure. In terms of if you have no ads on, if they'll still honor that. Hopefully they do. But from my current understanding, they may change that. But as of now, you can choose where you want the ads placed. You can choose what types of ads. But from my understanding, they're not clear on if you have ads off, if they will add ads or not. Hopefully they'll say no. But we have to see. That's the thing. I see from Very Mary Kim, sorry, just got here. Does this mean we can't turn off ads at all if we wanted to? That was kind of what I was just saying to Joseph. I'm unsure. And that's that uncertainty that I feel a lot of creators are in. Now, I have come up with some ideas that I know a lot of creators want to just give their revenue to charity and that they don't monetize because they use other ways to give to charity. I think one thing that YouTube has done this year that was beautiful, and it was part of the effort, or technically it was last year, with Team Trees, is they have ways that proceeds to this video will go to charity. I would love an option as a creator if I don't want to monetize, but we monetize in other ways. Let me send the money we earn on the channel, if you're going to monetize anywhere, to charity. It's a huge tax write-off for YouTube. So the business side, they're looking great. For us as creators who want to help and give back, that's huge. And it looks and helps people. That's something they could do. And obviously not everyone wants to give to charity, but at least if you don't want to monetize, but they want to run ads, it's an in-between that makes YouTube happy. You're helping the world, and you can give knowing you can have the ads knowing it's going to help people, because a lot of people just want to help people like us at TubeBuddy. I see here from Life of, and I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, a new Nimmin. I'm so sorry. Absolutely. We have to look at other sources of income and be ready to adapt in periods of uncertainty. Life is not stagnant. I love that. And I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. I just, if you can help, that'd be appreciated. So I see from Alexa HD, what sucks is that we can't pick the ads we want if we were small channels. Oh, well, LOL at TubeBuddy. Yeah, that is kind of where I wish there was more clarity, because if I'm the small channel, I understand it's a free platform. I still would like that kind of control. I would still like to be able to say, no, I don't want this ad for pharmaceuticals if I'm in the US to be on my channel. I think that is an area I'd like some expansion on, and I don't disagree. So I see from Blue Impressions, why TubeBuddy does not give any keyword predictions on mobile app. So honestly, I would ask you to please email us, mobile@tubebuddy.com, send screenshots of what you're seeing so a developer can look in and give you even better information. I see from Rugby CP, how are you all? That's a good question. Let us know how you're feeling on these changes, if you're new or if you're returning. How do you feel about the YouTube monetization changes? Love to have this conversation we are having. And just want to let you know that we are here, we understand, and we are just talking through it. So how are everyone doing? And if you're watching the replay, what are your thoughts at this point of the part? I see here that Neil Patel has never monetized his channel. And again, a lot of people don't. It's not something they want or do. I showed earlier, us at TubeBuddy, we only monetized because we were testing things with monetization. So, yeah. So, will YouTube change these new terms if it gives bad results? I mean, YouTube has gone back on changes before. That is actually something they've done. When YouTube announced the verification change, that they were going to change the requirement, get rid of the badges, and redo it, people were furious. And YouTube brought it back. Now, I'm not saying that we just come in without an argument. We had good arguments to the verification badge change. It's going to be very hard for us as creators. How dare you monetize a free platform that lets us have futures and monetize, and we can actually earn money outside of the monetization program. And yeah, you actually host everything and you don't charge us a penny. Not saying that I think it's fair. I'm just saying we have to have a good argument. And anything we do, we need a good argument for something to change. We had one then. I think we need a really good one now. And I'm not a lawyer, so maybe there's someone who is more legal savvy than I. So the scary part about this change, especially for us small YouTubers, is that these ads may affect us negatively, meaning if ads are non-skippable, our viewers might get irritated by the ads. And I think that is a genuine concern, where if you are making an argument, let us have more controls over the ads. I fully support that. If you're going to run ads, give us some sort of control. Maybe we don't get, obviously you're going to run ads anyway, but let us decide which is getting picked. And maybe they, it's their platform, their choice, but a little more creator choice in the smaller YouTube for the smaller creators really goes a long way. Or maybe we should, instead of small, let's start starting, right? Because a business takes 5 years to start. That's still a small / starting business. I think starting creator is way more fair than small. So John says, great answers. A blue impression question about the mobile app. Our features are driven by feedback we get from this community. So please keep the feedback and feature requests coming. So if you have anything you'd like to see in our mobile app, that is mobile@tubebuddy.com. Please email us. Once again, that is mobile@tubebuddy.com. So just making sure. So this comes from Tasty Meal and Treat. So we will have ads as new channels. And when we reach 4,000 hours, the only thing that will change is we will benefit from the ads. Correct. For my current understanding, correct. That is the difference. Hopefully that makes sense to those watching. I see from Stanley Orchard, with all vids getting ads, viewers are more likely to grow accustomed to them, may drive traffic to premium, which is positive for us. And that is another take. I mean, that is true. People, let's put it this way. There's a reason that there's a Hulu with ads and a Hulu. People pay for the Hulu with no ads. People don't necessarily like ads. Now, YouTube benefits with premium. We do too. Memberships, maybe one thing YouTube could do is, hey, I love this channel. They offer memberships. Maybe if you are a member to channel, you see no ads. I think that's a great compromise, because some people may just want to support one channel in that way. I think that would be a great. What do you think? What do I think about the change? Well, I've just been kind of sharing the facts. I guess I haven't given my opinion so much so. So to answer the big reviews, I would say that, am I surprised by this change? No. Am I disappointed that YouTube didn't communicate better? Absolutely. I think that this change, being that channels who are not in the YPP, YouTube Partnership Program, are now going to get ads. I saw it coming years ago. I saw it coming when I was in the YouTube NCN space. I think that this is just like anything. This is going to be our new normal. However, communication is key. They didn't communicate well. Classic YouTube. I would say that knowing that there's a chance, and even if you have an uncertainty, that you should try to eliminate all uncertainty with any statement. I understand that legalese is different. I am not mad by these changes. I'm not surprised by them. Personally, I've been in this game a long time. I've been on YouTube since 2006, right? So I've seen the changes. I just wish there was more communication, and that's where I think they dropped the ball. GoFrox Lag says, can you skip ads like 2 hours long? There's a 2 hour long ad. Maybe there should be more report options for ads, because there should not be 2 hours. Nick Nimmin, welcome to the chat, says, did someone say PP? Well, yes, partnership program. Nick, there is a link if you'd like to join in our group. So friendly reminder, no advertising It's a little funny, isn't it? So don't advertise your channel. Chat about advertising changes. Not to say to disprove Ike was just funny. Well, thank you, Nick. Nick says Andrew equals veteran. I do my best. I think we are all doing our best. People are excited Nick is here. Be careful. You talking against YouTube may give you strike. You got this. I don't think YouTube would do that. I mean, I've said my piece on YouTube many times and have not gotten in trouble. In fact, I actually have worked with some YouTube staff because of my opinions, right? So I actually tend to find that YouTube is a little bit more forgiving than we give them credit for. And a lot of... Shelly says there is? Yes, Shelly. Anytime there's a stream, that's usually me. I try to do it through StreamYard for the ability for other people to join. I see from Dev the Great, TubeBuddy is OP. Well, thank you. I see from Fire Reed, I get monetization from about 5 months now. I request my PIN 3 times, still don't get in the mail. I get a message from YouTube that they will stop show ad. Can you give me advice, please? Unfortunately, that's out of my control. The only thing I can say is you have to remember the world is in a terrible situation with this global pandemic. Patience is never a fun answer. If they said they're not going to monetize at all because of no PIN, maybe that means that they're still waiting from the ones they've sent and they want to make sure that there's no issue. I would just be very mindful that if their PIN's out, YouTube wants to make sure that someone else doesn't use it. Question, do you have any tips on little storage on your phone to record artwork? I have a desktop computer. So you're asking me, do I have tips on storage for your phone? There are cloud services such as Dropbox. There are services such as Google, which offer some free storage options. Obviously, it depends your connection. There are some wired connections. I know that some external hard drives actually support phones. So you can get that at like Walmart, Best Buy, Amazon, etc. So I would look into those options, see if they have phone support, because if they do, that can actually help a lot. So yeah, we're seeing some Nick Nimmin love. I love you very much. Hard eyes, hard eyes, hard eyes. Same, Nick. 3 hard eyes to Nick Nimmin. How much AdSense CTR is good? I mean, I would say you want the higher the CTR, the better. It also depends the amount of impressions. It doesn't just stop on our YouTube channels. Ideally, you want more people to click through than less. I see YouTube is the best video platform. You know, there's a man. If I can, he can too. This man has great intros for people that come on. He is a man, a myth, a legend as well. It is my good friend, Nick Nimmin. Nick, how are you?
Andrew Can. What is going on, man? I'm doing fantastic. I can't stay on long, but you're like, hey, do you want to come on? And I'm like, really? I'm not going to turn down a live stream invite. Are you crazy? I was like, yeah, man, let's hop on, man. So I just came on. So I was on a phone call with a buddy, and I got off and I logged in and I'm like, okay, hey, Andrew's live right now. So I'm going to come in, hang out a little bit. And I caught the end of kind of what you're talking about with the new changes. So just overall, just a quick thing, like in 10 to 15 seconds, what's just to bring me up to speed, like what are your thoughts?
I think that it's not surprising that they've done this. I just wish that they communicated better, which is my thing for anything YouTube does. And I wish they gave creators more control of said changes.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
How about yourself in 10 seconds?
Myself, I don't think that it's a big deal, really. I mean, I look at it from the perspective of YouTube being a free hosting platform that allows us to be able to reach people and make money and share our messages and grow communities and all that good stuff. So I look at it as, they're trying to keep the lights on. And this is one of the many ways that they do that. And because of that, it's just one of the it's kind of like a requirement of sorts for, what it is that they need to do. And the better that they take care of themselves as a company, the more longevity we're going to have as YouTubers. So, because of that, I think that it's perfectly okay. And it's not like they said, hey, we're going to just stop paying people. It's like, hey, you're not making money on it anyway. So we're just going to start, throwing some ads in front. And in order for creators to bypass that, all they have to do is make content that people respond to so that they can quickly get into the partner program. And then it doesn't even need to be a thought. So because of that, I don't think it's really, that big of a deal.
I agree on that. I think that it's a lot of people don't like the idea that they're making money off us with us seeing a return, but If you've
But
known
the funny
business,
thing is, though, like with that, the funny thing is those same exact people think that, okay, well, YouTube is going to make money off of me for the work that I've put in to create this content, and I'm not going to get like a part of that or whatever. But they don't think about, well, YouTube has built over, more than a decade. They've built the entire infrastructure of YouTube. They have, employees and office buildings all over the place. They build creator spaces and all of these things that we can just walk into and use, after you reach certain points and things like that. And in some cases, they even train content creators for free at some of those facilities as well. But, they built this amazing infrastructure and they've built the company into, the biggest video website on the planet. So with us, like, it's okay for us to upload our content there for free, right? Even if like before they started showing ads on the videos, it's like, it's perfectly fine for me to upload my video and YouTube not show ads on it, but they're still paying for the hosting, they're still paying for anything that happened every single time, anytime there's a page load for a content creator on a video, it's costing YouTube money. It's going to be a very small amount of money for page load, but the idea is that they are incurring a cost for us to be able to upload our content for free, and we don't think anything about that. We're like, hey, that's YouTube. That's what they're supposed to do. But we're not thinking about it from like a standpoint of like, they've built this into this behemoth that we get to tap into, and they didn't charge us anything along the process. So them putting ads in front of the videos, in my opinion, that's the least that we can do for that opportunity. And again, it's not permanent. Like, we still are able to get into the partner program and then start getting a cut of that revenue. It's just that initial period of like, hey, instead of letting you upload this content for free, we're essentially paying for you to be able to upload that content for free by showing ads on your videos. So I think it's just kind of like a perspective thing.
And I agree. And I think that's an interesting perspective. I think of it like if we were dating and YouTube sees us, they're like, hey, for the last 15 years, I paid the bill. You got this one? And we're like, whoa,
hold
YouTube.
On, the nerve. Right.
It'd be like, I wouldn't go on a date with someone like that again. It's like, but that's what we've kind of been doing to YouTube. That's an issue. I like that perspective. It gives perspective, because I think people see brands as, they forget people are behind them. They're just like us. They may have built this. That doesn't mean they know the answers to everything. They're still trying to navigate it too. I asked this question earlier, Nick. I mean, imagine if you individually were responsible for 5 million people's action, and if anyone faltered or did something wrong, you'd go into jail. You wouldn't take that bet, or maybe you would.
No, I definitely would not. Definitely would not. Yeah, that's definitely not on my list of risks that I would be interested in. Like, if there was like a hierarchy of risks, that one would be like way down towards the bottom.
Exactly. So I see people are agreeing with it. Ike says that she ships it. So
I think that's good.
I think so too. So I see this from Good Music. They made their money to sustain whatever they needed for a long time to go. So I've seen this come up too, Nick. What do you think on, some people are arguing, oh, they made enough money to sustain YouTube forever ago. Why are they just doing this now?
What is enough money? Like, what does that mean? That's like, how long is a piece of string, right? Like, what is enough money? And like, sure, they've made it to be able to sustain it for a long time, but they also are going to need money to sustain it for an even longer time, right? So, I don't think it's about, YouTube making money. They're a business. That's what they're there for. I think that it's more about content creators feeling entitled in terms of, like, hey, it should be free. It should be this because I think so. And because it's kind of normal. YouTube is like a just a known thing, kind of like a phone company now, but that's not, like, it's not the same thing, but people, are expecting that free thing out of YouTube. So what I would like to challenge you to think about is, how about if YouTube were to make an announcement that says, hey, from this point forward, if you're not monetized, we're going to charge you money to upload your videos, right? Ooh. Then everybody would quit because they would be like, oh, now I got to pay money in order to do this. In my opinion, I think that this is just one of the ways that they can help, make sure that all of the people that are uploading content and that don't listen to our advice, and since they don't listen to our advice, they're not getting the results and they're just kind of wasting bandwidth. I think that, this is going to, help, take care of all that stuff. and make a profit, because that's, ultimately what they're trying to do.
Wait a minute. I've been watching Nick Nimmin for years. Why am I not growing? Well, have you done anything he said? Well, wait, I just thought I had to watch. So I do have a quick question. I want to help answer this from Roselle here. They were just wondering, when do these changes take effect? And this is something a lot of people I saw earlier. They're like, they don't even know this. As YouTube said, it's already in effect. It said November 18th. Like, that's the thing that I think why we're all streaming is like, it's already in effect.
Yes.
So that's why.
Yeah, by the time it's kind of like getting shot. It's like by the time you realize it, it's already happened. Right.
Yeah.
So, like with this particular thing, it's basically like when they made that announcement, it was immediately effective.
Yes, it was. And speaking of effective, we have someone who is going to help you be effective with your vertical video. Shelly saves the day.
Hey, no, I was so bummed. I was like, wait, you're telling me there was a link? I was like, I would have jumped in. I was like, I always have thoughts. Good morning, Nick. Oh, afternoon.
Good morning. Hope that you are doing fantastic there, Shelly. Popped into your stream the other day showing people how to use shorts. That was fantastic. So you have it in your phone.
Only in one of my 5 accounts, though. Only in a channel under 1,000 that's not even monetized.
Same. I have it on a channel with 5 subscribers, and I'm like, why can't I do shorts here?
Yeah, exactly. Like on the channel with the 200 or whatever it is for vertical video, actually only vertical video, it doesn't have it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm actually going to look now that you've said that. Now that you've both been like, yeah, it's actually on channels that don't even, have anything.
Yeah. If you look on Nick Nimmin, I don't know if you guys know this. He has a secret second. It's not secret now. He has another channel, a shorts one, a shorter video channel. Maybe you have it on that one.
I don't have it on that one. But I'm actually going to log into like one, because I also have, the accounts just for like looking around and whatnot. So oops, I did that in the creator studio. Wrong place.
While you're looking around,
I know how to use YouTube by now.
I want to get both of your opinions on YouTube. Is just raising the bar to raise the bar, not giving back much, even though they make YouTube they make YouTube rewind their content, etc. So it makes me very hard for us to hold on to the platform. So they're saying essentially, YouTube is asking more of us, but they're not giving back more. What are your thoughts on that kind of thought process?
Well, I thought Nick had a really good point too about if they actually asked us to upload and pay for basically hosting. So if you had your own website, if anything like that, you would have to pay for basically, or like Vimeo, you have to pay for the amount of storage that you have on their servers. YouTube doesn't make you pay for that. And if anything, you can even upload a whole bunch of unlisted videos or private videos and then download them later. And it's kind of like free cloud storage, if you think about it, for all of your videos, and they don't make you pay. And I think it's an interesting perspective, because now that they've been going to, like, all this time, they're like, yeah, we're only going to put ads. And who said that they were actually going to be ever forced to give you any part of that revenue? They're giving you a place to host for free. They're giving you search engine traffic for free. They're giving all of this to you for free, and a place for you to put videos so that you can actually connect with people, maybe get clients, or, get with brands or monetization. Yeah, you have it. Look at that.
I got it.
And they've never charged you for it. And now that they're actually charging, it's an interesting model, because people are, and you said it, they're so entitled. They're entitled to, I want this. And then they got upset about the having to pay for not having ads for like premium. And it's like, well, yeah, there's this fine balance that they have to have between like how much is enough that's going to drive them into this other premium product that's also going to get us money, and how much is enough for them to either stop using our product or actually leave the platform.
Yeah,
So.
and to kind of piggy on that, if YouTube only ever made enough money to pay all their bills, no innovation would happen. We'd stagnate, and no one wants that. No one wants to be like, YouTube is exactly as it was 5 years ago. Nothing new is added. That means no super chat. That means no live stream chat support in the way we have it. Innovation is good. There's always a cost to anything.
Yeah. No channel members, no super stickers, no like nothing like that. So
viewer applause.
Yeah, I mean, they have found a lot of ways to save money.
If you guys don't mind, really quick, Doc Rock just said that he just hit 6,000 subscribers while watching this. Thanks, TubeBuddy.
Aloha.
He's more than doubled since he signed up for TubeBuddy 13 months ago. Doc Rock, high five and fist bump to you, man. Keep crushing. Man.
I gotta pick your brain later around some of my eCam troubles I'm having. And I know you're a master.
You're having eCam issues?
Well, not the eCam itself. We can talk later. It's my Stream Deck. It's my Stream Deck with auto starting scenes.
Okay.
Rob says, go Doc Rock. So I see a few people said,
hey, Rob.
A few people are like, is this actually going to happen? And this is like, I don't know why I have so many people. I've seen this very commonly. They're like, there's no way this is happening.
Trust me, I got like 8 emails about it for all of my different. It's happening.
Yes.
I was actually really curious about the royalties thing for like June 2021, and then the way that they're going to make that flip, because that could be a good thing for some creators when it comes to, you know, getting a house or maybe buying a car or something like that, because royalties are treated differently than some of the other income, which you've always said, like, I'm a YouTuber, and they're like, show me the money and the receipts. And so it could be good for that. I do worry for some people. I don't know yet what it's going to do for creators that are monetized, where they have higher CPMs because advertisers are willing to pay for that. And now it's this, let's just throw ads on anything that we want to. And does that affect any of the creators that are maybe in higher CPM buckets? We don't know that yet.
I don't think it's even about being in higher CPM buckets. I think it's more about just ad inventory in general.
Yeah.
Basically, we have more video inventory to run ads on. So in terms of the CPMs by itself, I think it's going to affect the monetized playbacks, you know, way more than it's going to impact just the CPM, you know, alone.
Yeah. And I also worry about, like, if you're a small channel, like an ASMR channel, or you're a vegan channel, you can't control then that they throw a Burger King ad in it. Whereas if you're a monetized creator, you might be able to say, I'd like to opt out of political ads or ads in controversial subjects. And if you're smaller, you don't really get that opportunity. So it's just more motivation for you to really make sure you hustle and get to that monetized area, so that you can actually make your choices and presence known for what you would and not like to see. Because if you're also someone who does an hour-long live stream every time, you can't control that YouTube wants to come in and put 10 ads on it because it can every 5 minutes, interrupting your relationship with your viewers. So it's really just use that as motivation, as you want to make sure that you get out there and meet those requirements, so that you can say, hey, I'd only like to have one ad at the very end or at the very beginning or whatever it is.
Yeah. And I think ideally we all want to go above and beyond the requirements. So I think I've seen some people are like, I hit monetization, I can slow down. No, that's the opposite of what you should do. You keep going.
Like, getting started. Yeah.
Like, you just hit the, like, I see that commonly. So make sure you keep going past the monetization requirement. The next question is from Blue Impressions. They direct this to Nick, but I'll say this for anyone. Do you think the new ad policy on non-monetized channel can be a benefit to those creators or a disadvantage? So they're wondering if by having ads, will YouTube favor them differently?
So according to YouTube, you know, they're two different systems, and they don't, you know, promote, or they don't show content based on if it's monetized or not. They show content strictly based on how people respond to that content. So because of that, in terms of, you know, YouTube showing your content to more people because it now has ads on it, I don't think that's a thing. So on the advantage disadvantage side, I think that you are definitely going to have such a very small impact, but you could technically look at it like a disadvantage of, sure, you are going to have every now and then, because ads aren't going to play on every single video. They just play on some of the videos. But basically you're going to have some people that maybe you might have converted into a subscriber or a customer or whatever it is that you're doing, that you know, that will end up slipping through the cracks because of this. But like Shelly was saying, it's going to be such a minor impact that if you're serious about generating subscribers, if you're serious about using YouTube for your business or whatever it happens to be, then that disadvantage is going to be such a small thing, because you're going to be on the grind trying to get into the partner program anyway, so that you don't even have to deal with the situation in the first place, because you're taking it seriously. So because of that, I don't think it's going to be, you know, a disadvantage really at all. Nothing noticeable.
Yeah. And, you know, TubeBuddy, as I showed earlier, we've never monetized, but we get great traffic and search suggested in all of them. Casey Neistat, for the first few years he didn't monetize, and he was getting good. So I do fully believe, I've seen it countless times for like charities channels that, you know, they don't monetize, or they just make sure if they do, they put it to charity. There's no clear difference from all the data I've seen. So definitely understand. Do you want to add anything, Shelly?
Great question, though.
No.
I see Blue Impressions asked that again, so I would say we just answered. So for this question, it comes from Planet with Michelle. I've been using TubeBuddy for a while. Anything new coming? Well, first, yes, but I'd ask, have you seen the 2 new updates we have? There's Click Magnet, which is huge, and if you have Legend, thank you. I would say thanks to the devs. They did the hard work. I just gave my opinions.
And channel reviews.
And channel reviews. Well, channel reviews technically has been around since 2019, but there's channelreviews.com. There is Best Time to Publish, which is absolutely free. Anyone who has enough data from YouTube, we can't control the data that YouTube will give us, but if you have enough data, you can see what is the best time to publish with data for your YouTube channel for free.
So really quick, I want to highlight a question that came in here, if you don't mind.
Yes, of
so
course.
Paint and Sound said, right, and most importantly, don't allow YouTube to impact your mental health or well-being. It's not that serious.
Yes.
You know, that's a great message in terms of, you know, just making sure that you don't look at any changes that happen on YouTube and let it, you know, kind of mess up, you know, how you're just thinking about like your, you know, anything it is that you're doing, and that you do keep your, you know, your mental state intact, because, you know, part of success with anything is happening in here, right? Like part of success with anything is that it happens in your mind, and that you also are able to, you know, keep your mind healthy, I guess is kind of what I'm looking for there, so that you don't end up, you know, like burning out or hating what it is that you do, or, you know, whatever it happens to be. But success starts in your brain, so take care of it.
Exactly.
That's ultimately what I was trying to say. That last part right there was what I was
It was very
trying to say.
eloquent.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
I thought it was beautiful. I think, you know, it's whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I think a lot of this battle on YouTube and in life is mental, right? I think a lot of what stops people from being as great as they can be is that they don't see the immediate success. That's why there's the long-term and the short-term game. And it's understanding that YouTube is definitely a long-term. It's that marathon. I think we've all said YouTube's a marathon, not a sprint at some point, because it is. And I think that Paint and Sound is absolutely right, that your mental health, your mental fortitude is what's going to get you through any changes, not only here, but in life. So I really like what he had to say. Nick Nimmin is talking, but everyone's looking at Shelly Saves the Day doggy.
Yeah.
This is Casey. Isn't she cute? Oh, she's got a little quarantine haircut though. She's not. Mommy's not the best at haircuts.
Nice.
Well, we interrupt our end of the world doom for cuteness with Casey. No, just
Yeah, that should be that should be a show. Cuteness with Casey.
During any TubeBuddy stream, we interrupt the gloom and doom to bring you. And it's just.
I was watching a live stream with Luria, and she has a dog too, and she has her own camera. She has her own camera, so you can just like pop her in on screen, and you see the dog in the bed. It's super cute.
Nice.
I see from Wondering Acres, people will find anything to complain about for why they aren't growing on YouTube except their own content.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, absolutely. But, you know, one thing to think about with that, though, is, you know, I think part of those complaints, like for like if you hang out in the YouTube help communities and you hear us talking about it all the time and stuff, and it might make it kind of to where it sounds like we're kind of, you know, coming down on them or whatever. But, you know, I think it's more about people just not like, they're just kind of doing their own thing, maybe because they don't know that there's best practices. Maybe they don't know that, you know, there's communities, you know, based around YouTube that can actually, you know, help them get a better understanding of it, you know, things like that. So I lean a lot of that more on people just like not knowing. For the people that do know, and they, you know, do, you know, like hang out in the communities around the YouTube help content, and they, you know, they could repeat a lot of the stuff that we talk about, but they just don't apply it.
They don't
for those
execute
people, it's for those people, you know, it's a totally different situation. But for the people that are, you know, new, but they're not, you know, getting, you know, results, or they're just kind of uploading and it might seem like they're not following any of the information. I think it's probably just because, you know, they haven't come across it, or, you know, or whatever. So.
Exactly. I just to piggyback on that for a second, it's just like you can watch 4,000 hours of NBA basketball. It doesn't mean you can go out onto the court and actually do. So
right.
I would always say, like, you're not a YouTuber, a true YouTuber, until you hit publish on a video. And until you have enough data from publishing a few videos to know what works, what doesn't work, what is your audience relating to you on, like, what are some like best practices. Like, just because you watch 100 hours of Nick Nimmin doesn't mean like you are a YouTube expert or a guru or like going to be successful. You have to go out and apply the things.
Actually do the stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And it may or may not even like, not everything works for everyone. Just like there's so many diets, you know, there's South Beach and keto and whatever, because lots of bodies are different. And that's the same, like lots of niches are different. There's a lot of best practices that work for everybody, but you have to try it. You have to taste it. You have to do it. You have to fall down a few times, and you have to have that data that says like, people like this or they don't like this. And you can't just be like, well, I tried one thing and I did all the things and it's not working, and like, screw all these gurus. That's not how it works. You have to actually go out and do the work.
Yeah. And I think one time, I think it was Daryl. So I think it was Daryl Eves. Someone came up to him and was like, hey, I watch all your content. And he was like, oh, thank you very much. And his follow-up question was the most important. He's like, did you do what I said to do? And then they froze.
Yeah.
So it's not only to watch, it is to execute, right?
You gotta do. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I want to say it was Daryl. Again, I've been to so many events over the years, and it's 2020. I think we can all speak to it. Whatever you thought you knew, your brain's like, nah, you don't remember that.
It's the longest year / month in history. It's like, how is it November? Yet, like, I feel like the year has crawled by. Same.
Like Christmas songs came on the radio, and I got angry. I'm like, it's only. Oh wait, it is November.
Yeah. I find like anytime after Halloween is acceptable, and then you take a break for Thanksgiving, and then you go back to it like right after. It's like, yeah, it's just a thing.
Exactly.
Guys, I'm going to head off of here. It's like 1 a.m. So I just wanted to stop in here for a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and head out. So everybody have an awesome rest of your day, and everybody enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Andrew, for having me on. Shelly, have an awesome rest of your day as well. Nice seeing you. And I will talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Good night, Nick. And then there were two. But I do appreciate everyone for showing up and being here, especially you, Shelly. Thank you for always being on when I do the group streams. I do appreciate it. It doesn't come unnoticed. Also, congratulations. Getting a lot of kind words about your stream. People really loved it. So
I think we did break a record though, for like thumbs up and yeah, for thumbs up. I was very excited about that.
Next time we're going to beat that 250 concurrent. I know we can.
That would be awesome.
It's in my name. People are saying they still want to meet us someday, and we hope that we can all meet in person again. I know that quarantine and lockdown affects everyone differently. So yeah,
Hopefully the Summit 2021. If you guys want to go be there.
Yes. So from Daniel here, for small creators, would you pay $1 to have the option to be ad free? So I think this is a good question for those watching, and I'd ask you the same question. If all you had to pay was $1, would you watch YouTube ads free? Shelly?
Oh yeah, I already pay for YouTube Premium, so yeah.
Same, I'm paying way more than $1.
I know, I pay way more than that already. So yes.
But I do think it is interesting because we're getting a lot of thank you Shellys in the chat. But I think it's very interesting that, you know, what Nick brought up was if we were to look at this like a relationship, we're kind of dropping the ball a lot where we're not paying for the meal. And the first time YouTube's like, hey, can you get this one? We just freak out. So I think it's all perspective, as Nick put it.
Yeah. And I think if people understood how much it costs, and I know someone was like, oh, YouTube's already made their money like enough to be profitable. And it's like, well, let's not forget how old YouTube is and how it only started being profitable. And let's not forget that like 500 hours every minute, you know, or whatever is uploaded to the platform. And who has to pay for all of that storage? So I don't know if you guys have ever tried to like, you fill up a hard drive and then you're like, oh crap, now I have to buy another hard drive. They're buying stacks and servers and stuff all over the world just to support and hold all of this data. Like, where does all the data go? Someone has to pay for it. And they're not asking you for the bill right now. They're saying, okay, we'll pick this one up. All you have to do is, you know, like, don't forget about us, you know, and I think a lot of people forget that they're paying for everything right now. You're not paying them necessarily unless you're paying for ads for search traffic. You're not paying them to send notifications, even if it's only to 10% of your audience. You're not paying them to host your information up on their servers. So if you think about it, like, you have been taking and taking and taking from YouTube for a very long time without giving a lot back or, you know, conceding much. And then even when you get monetized, they're like, hey, thanks for being here. Not only was all this stuff free, now we're going to give you a share of like all of the money that we're making from ads. Come on, like you have to like give something back too.
Exactly. And Cart Galaxy says, Roberto brought up a good point. He said, many people don't understand the business model, which I think is true. A lot of people, you know, we do take it for granted that this is free to do and that the ability, this didn't exist 15 years ago. There was no comparable to YouTube. So I think that that's kind of, you know, it kind of echoes some of the things we said earlier. So I think it's just making sure we do it. And it's interesting because Wonderland Acres says, as someone who works in backend IT, yes, servers and data storage is insanely expensive. And I appreciate that perspective. And I think, Shelly, you know, you definitely can speak to that. You understand the business side of it, which is very important.
And not only servers, they're paying for backup servers too, because all of a sudden, if something goes down, you can't just all of a sudden go to 1 million creators and be like, sorry, your videos are down, wait for our stuff to reboot. Like they probably have it backed up someplace so they can still serve it up. So, and they're replicating, like storage is expensive and it's only growing by the minute, the literal minute for all of the hours and hundreds of hours and billions of minutes that are being uploaded to the platform any day. So, I mean, you really have to think about there's there's a cost associated to all of that. There's a cost associated to every single time they roll out a feature. Who's paying for the creators and the developers to create YouTube Shorts and putting that in app? There have to be developers, just like TubeBuddy has developers for their mobile app. There's a whole team of developers that are working on that, and they have to pay for those people and the buildings that they're in, or the computers that they're using, and the bandwidth that they're using. Everyone has to pay back into the place that's giving them all the free stuff eventually.
Exactly. And that is, how things tend to work, not only here, not at TubeBuddy, it's how it works. Our free users, we're able to give that because we have so much support from our community. We always aim to be better, but there's always a cost for everything, right? So I think that's a very wise perspective. And I think I think what I'm seeing a lot in the community is that YouTube doesn't communicate. And because they don't communicate, we lack perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would almost love for them to show like what it costs to store that much data, like how much they have to spend in in bandwidth, data, like storage, like server maintenance. I mean, can you just imagine how much that would cost?
So I mean, that'd be like if YouTube showed us how much rent was, would we complain for living for free? I don't think we would.
And I almost think they could go to a model where they pay, just like Vimeo does, like pay us to put your videos here. And then I'd love to see like what happens, because if someone isn't willing to pay the $14 or $15 a month that they would charge us to put our stuff up versus what it costs to put it up on WordPress, but you get the power of Google and search engine behind you. Like, think about that for a second when you're like so entitled to the point where you're like, I would never pay to put my stuff on YouTube. You're like, but one day, could you ever see that? I mean, it's not outside of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. I do, you're talking about Vimeo and other platforms. We have this from Fact Talk channel. I wonder if TubeBuddy can implement features to auto post across all your social media accounts. We were working on that, and then all the social medias were like, what if we changed our APIs?
Yeah,
so
they're very restrictive, a lot of them.
So while we would love to, that is that is something we could do. It's just something we would need to see more community support for, but it's not something we haven't thought of.
It would be really cool. I saw Casey Neistat actually do a tweet about that. He's like, I just need one service that's going to post to my Snapchat, my Instagram story, my Facebook story, my, my TikTok and my whatever. And I'm like, I know. Why doesn't this service necessarily exist? And it's because all of those developers and everything, the reason they close off those APIs is, one, they don't want everyone doing this, because then it would defeat the point of going onto the platforms and actually putting content there. So we're all looking for ways to automate and be more efficient. They're waiting for us to be on the platform and be like, hey guys, hang out with us. So.
Exactly. Stanley Orchard brings up a good point. If we had to start paying, the quality of videos would skyrocket.
Yeah. And if you think about it, like, there's nothing stopping you from putting out a masterpiece or a piece of junk because it's all free. It's all free.
Exactly. And one day I'll get that masterpiece, Shelly. One day I'll figure it out.
One day. Me too. If the masterpiece is here, like, my content is like, okay.
No, your masterpiece is like those amazing lights behind you, very high and very well deserving. So we have From the Unsalted Kitchen saying, I'm still here replaying from the beginning. Mega shout out to you, host. Well, thank you. If you get to this far in, we wanted to appreciate you for what you do. But speaking of appreciating all of you, what we do, we appreciate you here at TubeBuddy. Shelly, Nick, thank you so much for joining us. We wouldn't be here without the TubeBuddy community. Everyone will be linked in the description. I'll make sure to do that in the replay. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.